mother in New York City with her 2-year-old boy, a beautiful, lovely baby, her firstborn, the apple of his parents' eyes. The mother notices that the boy does not speak enough words for his age, and the words that he does speak begin to disappear by the age of 2. The mother is concerned. She visits the pediatrician. The doctor says that there isn't much cause for concern because the baby is healthy. And sometimes boys speak later than girls. The parents discuss this. They realize that they're a small nuclear family in a large city. They decide to increase his social interactions. The mother then signs the child up for a music and movement class. The child is happy. He enjoys the class. But the teacher reports that the child does not imitate the movements and does not have gestures. The efforts are increased. The mother starts spending more time with friends who have children the same age as her child. She starts taking him out more. The child loves all this. He loves going out. But she notices that he does not play with the other children. He plays alone by himself. The parents are concerned. They enroll the child in a regular preschool for more structure, more socialization, and more interaction. At the preschool, the child adapts to the school program. But again, the school reports that the child does not follow instructions. He does not make eye contact. And he plays with the toys in odd ways. He repeatedly plays with the same toys again and again. The parents now know that something is wrong, but they are unable to put their finger on it. One day, on a day such as this, in April, the mother is standing by her kitchen window. She opens a box of cereal. April is Autism Awareness Month, the worldwide. And on that box is an autism campaign which describes the classic signs and symptoms of autism. 1, no language by the age of 2 years or loss of language at any time. Inability to make eye contact when spoken to. Lack of gestures or inability to imitate. No interest in interacting or socializing, and repetitive behaviors. I slumped down on the kitchen floor. My son's diagnosis was written large and clear on that box of cereal. My son, my beautiful baby, all that nagging doubt and confusion of the last few months turned into painful reality. In that moment, I knew that my son had autism. The diagnosis and the clarity from the doctors came over the next few weeks, but in those moments, I personally knew that he had autism. Autism is not a physical diagnosis. It is not achieved by tests or scans. It is an observational diagnosis. It is best done by doctors, but parents play a huge role in finding it early and therefore improving the outcomes for their children. It's been 14 years since that day in New York City. I now live in New Delhi. I run a school for children with autism. At school, we practice a method of intervention known as ABA, or Applied Behavior Analysis. This method has been hugely successful in helping many, many children with autism. At school, I also meet parents and families from many different walks of life. What brings us together, what unites us, is the belief that our children can and will do better. Today, there is a lack of information and knowledge about autism. But what I have seen in my several years of experience, that early awareness and intervention makes a huge difference. So I hope more organizations, more socially responsible brands come up and raise awareness campaigns. What does autism mean to us as individuals? What does mental disability mean to each of us? For me, it is a condition that prevents my son from communicating or speaking properly. It is a condition that hinders his ability to perform at an age-appropriate level. It is a condition that prevents him from going to a regular school or making friends. And yet, he is the most amazing and beautiful person in my life. He is full of love and happiness. He makes me better than I am. He makes me better than I would have been without him. He has given my life meaning and purpose. What does autism mean to you all? What does autism mean to someone who is not impacted by it? It is a mental condition. The children seem to behave oddly. They make strange sounds, and sometimes they have meltdowns. There is a sense that the parents are somehow responsible for this. Or, at the least, they could work harder to make things better. Of course, one feels bad, but what can one do except look away out of kindness and good manners? For those who are not very kind or good manners, they may ridicule, make comments, or give unsolicited advice. Are either of these acceptance? What do I, as a parent of a special needs child, think of those around me? I wonder, as my friends and family, would you invite me with my son for dinner or for coffee? It is true that he will run around your house. He may cry. He may make a mess. But can you do so occasionally, maybe once a year? Because sometimes I feel so alone and isolated with my child. I want someone to reaffirm that we are accepted just the way we are. It is true that he cannot play with your child. It is also true that he may not read and write as well as yours. But we are still a mother and child. And aren't we all the same, in spite of being different? Mental disability is a very strangely nuanced condition. It takes us aback every time because of its conflict with physical normalcy and odd behavior. Here is a person who looks just like us, but his behavior is so very different. We do not know how to react to it, do we? Should we look at this person or should we look away? Should we look happy or should we look sad because of his condition? Should we engage with this person, speak to him, or should we keep our distance? A friend of mine once asked me, how should she behave around my son? And this is what I said to her. Just the same as you would with anyone else. Allow him a natural experience. Speak to him the way you would speak to me. He may not be able to respond adequately, but just be and let him be. Don't look away and don't look in. Individuals on the autism spectrum do perceive social and emotional cues very well. Just as us, they enjoy a warm, nurturing, loving environment, and they will seek that environment more. Inversely, if they are being ridiculed or avoided, they will perceive that, however subtle those cues may be. What then is awareness and acceptance? Awareness is a function of information. The more we have, the better we understand. As in my case, the campaign on the box of cereal. Acceptance is a more complicated, a more complex phenomenon. It asks us to look deep inside us. It asks us to look inside where we have categorized people into neat little boxes. It asks us to shake those boxes and allow for different kind of people and different experiences to come in. Those shaken, fluid, messy boxes, that is acceptance. Today, autism is a highly pervasive condition. 1 in 68 children is being diagnosed with autism worldwide. The numbers are exactly the same in India. This roughly translates into 18 to 20 million individuals on the autism spectrum. What that means is that each of us will encounter someone with this condition in our lifetime. Isn't it time then, as friends, family, and community, we found ways to include those who are different than us, into our fold in a way that is seamless and natural? Isn't it also time to raise awareness to such an extent that a mother does not have to read her son's diagnosis on a box of cereal? Thank you.